This video is probably going to be quite long because I've got many things to cover. But before I get to what my week was like, I want to say thank you. Your video was very kind, you were very nice. And also thank you to Ashley for that little comment you wrote in there. It's nice to know that he and my family aren't the only people who think that way. So I guess I'm going to have to change my opinions. And because you were so nice, I'm going to reveal 2 facts about myself that I haven't so far, and are pretty important to me. One of them est que je peux parler français, je suis bilingual. And the other thing is that I am a barefooter, as you can see here. I go barefoot absolutely everywhere that I possibly can. And now, to my week. This week was actually a lot better than last week. Everything seemed to be sort of ebbing down. Work projects became easier, slower, started stopping. Quite amazing, really. Makes me think that maybe it is going to actually wind down rather than wind up as it seems to have been the past while. Today was particularly amazing because today was Multicultural Day. Never had this before. It's a new event, but it was still great. So basically no work at all today. We spent the whole day sitting in the gym en masse. First we had a speaker from Ethiopia. Really amazing story he had. After him came the local Ukrainian dancers who were in the school. They did dancing. It was great. I love Ukrainian dancing. Then we got a woman who did a story from African folklore. Then we broke for lunch. Then when we came back from lunch, we had dancing of the Aboriginal, Native, whatever you wish to call them, dancers from the school, and a guest dancer, and that was great. Really, some of those dances are just mind-blowing. The ring hoop dances, that's what they're called, hoop dances. Try and find out about those are just insane. And then we had Caribbean, which just really helped to chill out everything, and it was great. I loved the whole experience. On to the things other than the week. First of all, Pokemon. You asked me about Pokemon. I do remember when it became a big fad. I never really got that into it. I never really was overly into most things, like Nintendos, Game Boys, any of those sorts of things. Never in my family. But we're still extremely nerdy and geeky, just not that way. But I did get somewhat involved in it. I got I think they were coloring books or sticker books for Pokemon stuff. I collected a bunch of those, and I got this big poster thing which had all the images of Pokemon on them, and you had to get a sticker to put over top, and I did that. But all in all, no, I wasn't really that much into Pokemon. Please don't hate me. And now Harry Potter. Harry Potter was something that me and my family got fantastically into. It all started with this book. This was given to me on Christmas. Yep, this was a Christmas present. And at the time, I always think of myself as being around Harry's age at the time of the story. I might have been, I don't remember really anymore. It was quite some time ago. But I wasn't overly interested in the book because it's all words. And I liked having some pictures to go with, but there weren't really that many. But my dad, at that point, read to me before I went to bed. And he started reading this book, and like after the first word, I was hooked. It's amazing. And he was hooked too. Another chapter. Yes. And we went through that book pretty quickly. When it came out, we got this one. Then this one. Now by this point, the whole family had gotten really into Harry Potter, and we started having difficulties, particularly with the fact that whenever a new book came out, everyone wanted to have it. And the first person to grab it and read it, everyone else would be, "Are you done? Are you done? Are you done? Are you done? Are you done?" And the other person would be biting their tongue not to talk about the book. And so we dealt with this situation. By the time that this book came, we were reading it communally. My dad, who's fantastic at reading books, he has a different voice for Harry and Ron and Hermione, and he had a great voice for Umbridge and Dobby and Kingsley Shacklebolt, and fantastic. But by the time that this book came along, we were reading them communally. He would read it out and the rest of us would listen. And that way we're all at the same level and we're all enjoying the book at once. And same went for this book. And this one. And this one. And even after that, I have other ones, which I got at Christmas time. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by Newt Scamander. 2 copies of Quidditch Throughout the Ages by Kenilworthy Wisp. And the first volume of Harry Potter in French. We have other memorabilia around the house, but as you can see, we are Harry Potter fans. Now, after Harry Potter, I was going to talk about Narnia. Now, you may not have read those books as a kid, but I did. We have them upstairs. I didn't bring them down, but yeah, I'm not sure whether we read them or parents read them to us or some combination of the both. But yep, I've read or had read to me all of them except for the very first and the very last one, which are the worst of the collection. And yes, I saw The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the movie. I personally thought that it was better than the first version because that one wasn't so good. And so I've actually been looking forward to Prince Caspian, hoping they're going to do a good job on it. And now for my challenge. I haven't actually been able to write this out, so I'm going to give you the information. Firstly, I define my childhood as being between my infancy and when I started going to school in kindergarten at grade 5. Although technically I was a child between kindergarten and many grades upwards, I didn't feel like one anymore. I had changed because of the school. If you wish to find out more about what sort of school it was, check out the Re-Bullying Project video, also on my main channel. I didn't really become a kid until I could, walk, so infancy is out. And when I got to school, my fellow classmates killed my trust and my innocence, basically. So, I don't really think that I was that much of a child after that. Sorry to darken your day. But I do, and I don't remember much, actually, from that period in my life. My very first memory comes from then, and that was when we were on a road trip. We were driving from our town in western Manitoba all the way to Vancouver, which is in British Columbia on the Pacific coast. Now, that's going from the center of the continent to the west coast of the continent, through 1, 2, 3 provinces. A really, really long trip, which apparently was quite eventful, but I only remember one small part of it. I remember standing in the Drumheller Museum, or a thing associated with the Drumheller Museum. Drumheller Museum, it's a museum in the town of Drumheller, Alberta, which is all about dinosaurs. And at the time, I really liked dinosaurs. And my first memory is of staring at a couple of animatronic dinosaurs eating another one. I would often grab people and say, "Let me tell you something," and impart the information that I absorbed like a sponge. Because I watched shows like Bill Nye the Science Guy, Kratts Creatures. I loved those sorts of shows. I absorbed information. I wanted to be a scientist when I was a little kid. And I would reiterate it to everyone else. I guess you've been wondering why we haven't floated off the ground. Well, it's this thing called gravity. Or, let me tell you something. You know that 35 million years ago, there were big giant lizards walking around? And of course, everyone would humor me when I did this. Because obviously everyone knew already, but I was so excited to give out this information.